Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Biz Talk of February 2021. I have a very special guest with us this evening, Aniket Natwani, who is the AVP of Sales and Business Development at Shadowfax. I leave it to Aniket to do a long introduction of himself and what he does at Shadowfax. Over to you, Aniket.
Thanks, Shweta. I'll keep it short. I would like to call myself a business development and strategy professional with a passion for logistics. So I have an overall experience of about 10 years now in IT, FMCG, and tech-driven logistics companies. So yeah, it's been quite a while with business development roles for me, and specifically in my last two stints with Blackbuck and Shadowfax, I have really developed a deep interest and a passion for logistics, as I said. So I'm very keen to learn every day in this space and add value to our clients, for to solve their logistics problems.
That's great. It's really great to learn about how you've come so far and what you have done with your prior experience. So, Aniket, I just wanted to understand a little more as to how you've been progressing with Shadowfax. What are some of the key work or projects that you must have done while your journey at Shadowfax? So,
Sure. So I think when I joined, there was for the service lines where which I took up, there was really no business development or sales team as such. So it was all managed by the operations team itself. So it was a very good experience to actually build the team here. So it's a large team that I handle now, so around 21 to 22 people, and this is across some of the key service lines of Shadowfax. So to name a few, it would be Now Slot, where we do slotted grocery and other deliveries. Now Truck on Rent, where we place four-wheelers in the last mile. Different kinds of vehicles that we place for the last mile needs of our clients. Then one more key business line would be the B2B business, where we do part truckload movements for again key marquee clients across different legs in their supply chain, whether it is plant to depot or depot to distributor, or multiple legs for that we manage for them. Other than that, another key service line would be the Now Postman service line, where we deploy delivery personnel at our clients' delivery hubs, last mile delivery hubs. So yeah, these are a few of the service lines to manage. Another important one is the heavy supply chain, which we are building as we speak, as a parallel supply chain to our e-commerce deliveries, which is designed to handle loads of greater than 5 kgs in our network. So that is a rapid scale up that we're doing. So these are a few key service lines that I manage. And yeah, so it's been a really tremendous experience to a lot of new things that we've had the chance to build from scratch in terms of offerings, and the whole movement from a B2C to a B2B kind of client portfolio and service lines as well. I think that is another major shift that we are driving as a team.
okay, interesting. That's a lot. That's a lot, and that's very interesting. Great to hear so much about what you do at Shadowfax and how you've been progressing so far, Aniket. I My next question precisely is going to be about, we all know how the numbers during COVID were, and how the entire industry in general was performing. How about you let us know some post-COVID numbers and how the business has picked up for you?
Yeah. So I think post COVID, and I would say, I mean, post COVID would be just after
Yeah.
COVID struck, and there it was really a reverse trend for us as compared to what the industry was facing. So we really saw a major surge in demand, and the reason was very simple, that one of the key portfolios that I manage are grocery and FMCG. So we saw a tremendous surge in orders coming in for grocery business lines. We added several clients in grocery, specifically a lot of brick and mortar retailers as well who
Understood.
really started taking orders for home deliveries as well. So a lot of that happened, and we really had to scale up our fleet on ground. We had to build systems to ensure safe deliveries. So there was a lot of tech innovation that happened in that short space, and I think some of the features that we really built at that time, including contactless delivery, then selfies that ensure that riders are groomed, riders are also safe to do deliveries, and a lot of sort of such checks and balances that we actually built in our systems. I think they were really fast turnaround that we did to handle the amount of business that came in. One more aspect was the whole FMCG business, which really ramped up for us, because just to give you an idea, during the COVID, the 4-5 months of lockdown, we actually added more FMCG clientele than we have added in the past 5 years into our kitty. So I think there was a major interest of for FMCG companies to experiment with us in a lot of their legs. So whether it is their distributor to retailer leg, or whether it is a depot to distributor leg, or whether it is regular part truckload movements from plant to depot, or depot to inter-depot movements. So a lot of these businesses we got exposure to, and I think quite a few of them have actually transitioned into long-term strategic relationships. So I think in terms of the recovery of numbers, of course, by September we were actually back to our pre-COVID numbers, and right now we are
Wow.
way ahead of that. So I mean, without diverging actual numbers, but we are at least at around 1.5x of what we were doing earlier. So I think yes. So it has been a tremendous shift in the way we do business. A lot of business lines actually, service lines that we added. One of them would be the whole end-to-end service, so which we call as E2E internally. So one of them would be the E2E rapid business line that we developed, as part of this post-COVID measures.
Got it. So I think, it's fabulous just understanding how the industry has boomed back and better than where we left it. So absolutely amazing. And I'm sure it's each and everybody, the entire team efforts, and I'm sure it's logistics and a lot of all-nighters, goes without saying. Coming to my next question, Aniket. We have all seen the shift of focus from, the entire logistics now moving to a very direct to consumer based model because of the kind of demand now that there is. So what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, so I think that is, directly correlated to the E2E rapid business line that I was talking about, right? So D2C has become a need of the hour, and just to kind of give you a number here again, overall in e-commerce, 30%. It's in the overall landscape, it's quite small right now. Just to give you a number, overall online retail would be around 3% of the entire retail business, and out of that, D2C would be around 1% of that. So if you were to do the factor there, it's a very small number. But having said that, more and more brands are really getting into this D2C space. They have fast tracked their plans by several years to really get into the action here on this piece, and we are seeing massive growth in this space. We are actively part of it in terms of strategic relationships and exclusive relationships with clients in this space. So the idea of D2C is to actually get as close to the customer as possible, right? And there are several ways of doing that. So one way would be to fulfill from your distributors to directly to your consumers. One way to do it would be to service them from the nearest retailer or kirana stores as well. One way to do it would be to use a depot of yours or a CFA to actually service directly to the consumer. And another way to do it, and which is something that we are seeing tremendous interest in, is the entire dark store model, where you actually set up a dark store which is close to the customer, and you expose your targeted inventory to the consumers and ensure high levels of service and fulfillment from there. So I think these are very, very interesting trends that we see, and D2C and specifically dark stores, we feel, in coming years. So just to give you an estimate, we feel by 2025 there would be around some 10,000 plus dark stores that would be needed in the country. That's an estimate, and a business potential of around 3+ billion USD that we see just coming from this business of dark stores.
Wow. So I think that's a really strong plan. And I see that as a very visionary leader that you are, this is definitely something that Shadowfax, I can look at it scaling up and really huge. So a big round of applause for that, Aniket. Definitely, appreciate you taking us through about it in so much of detail. Thank you again for that. All right. So to proceed with my next question, Aniket, since you have been into this logistics industry for a really long time and you know the inside out of it, I would want to understand what are some of the expectations out of a logistics service provider and what are some of your implications that you must have faced. So,
okay. Again, I would say that, I would keep this answer true to the what we are discussing in terms of let's say the dark store or the D2C piece. So if I were to take that example, then the consumers would want a delivery at max. Let's say if we are talking groceries, then they would want a delivery, let's say max by tomorrow if they are placing the order today. So ensuring that you fulfill those orders on time and in full. I think that's one of the mother metrics of logistics, which we call as OTIF, or on time in full. So if I were to just give that metric for our B2C business, that would be around 98% SLA that we have in that space. So and of course, in terms of hyperlocal, when we come to hyperlocal, the expectations are different. When we deliver hot food to customers, that would mean a 45-minute delivery promise that we have, right? And typically we partner with major aggregators in the industry and big chains directly as well. And we have the same kind of service levels in our system that that they have for their own fleet as well. So, and in fact, sometimes we are even better. So I think it depends on the industry. There are several KPIs which vary, but one of the key KPIs here would be on time in full. There can be other metrics such as slot adherence. So for groceries, you might have slots where you would want your delivery for a specific slot because you might not be at home, in other times. So we offer those services as well, apart from express services, where you place an order and you get a delivery within 2 or 3 hours, depending on the SLA agreement with the client. So yeah, so these are few of the expectations which are there, and I think which we work day and night to stick to in terms of performance metrics.
Wonderful. So looking at the way everything is right now, at least I wouldn't call it the immediate post-COVID era. We are still amidst it. But looking at the way logistics is picked up, at least the D2C, consumers want everything at their fingertips. And I see a lot of businesses and players getting into it. What do you think is the way forward with D2C, with delivery to consumers or direct to consumers with Shadowfax, and how do you plan on going ahead with it?
Sure. So I'll probably share some insights from a particular client here. So and just to mention the sectors where we are seeing a lot of interest in this space. So FMCG definitely is a core sector where the need for dark stores is very distributed as well because of the distributed nature of demand for FMCG companies as well. So FMCG definitely is one. The second would be beauty and personal care, where we're seeing a lot of interest from clients, in this model, in terms of E2E or dark store models. The third would be electronics and appliances. I think there's a lot of interest that we're seeing. And the fourth would be apparel, and within apparel also players with players with not a very diverse portfolio, players with more, with a more narrow portfolio and sharper portfolio, I think are more interested in this kind of a space. So having said that, again, I would like to take the example of an FMCG player where we help them with their entire dark store strategy. And typically, there were three main challenges that they were facing in this entire piece. So one would be the whole fulfillment and inventory management piece. They were initially trying to the distributors, and really the distributor does not really understand the e-commerce nature of e-commerce business and the expectations of the consumer in e-commerce. So that was one challenge that we were facing. The second would be the last mile. Again, last mile works very differently for B2C deliveries or D2C deliveries as compared to B2B deliveries. So
Right.
that was another challenge. And the third was the whole scalability of this piece in terms of the amount of capex required to really set up dark stores across the country with the ambition that they have. So they have an ambition of at least 200 dark stores in the long term across the country. So the whole scalability of this as well was a challenge. So this is where Shadowfax came in, and right now we are live in all the 6 metros. 6 top metros with this offering where we are running dark stores for them, and these are orders that come in from their brand.com platform, and we service them within. So it's a cutoff of 5 p.m. Today that we have for servicing the order by tomorrow, right, over 2 slots. So I think it has been a really good level of customer service that we've been able to provide, and how we have done it. I'll just talk about a little bit about how it works. So there is an order management system of the client from where there is orders which come in from multiple sources. It can be horizontal e-tailers, or it can be direct their own brand.com website, or there can be multiple sources of demand which come in. That order management system is integrated with our warehouse management system. So we have a tie-up with Vinculum, where we have an integrated warehouse management system with the OMS of the client. And for the last mile, again, that order flows to Shadowfax system seamlessly through an integration with the WMS or the warehouse management system of Vinculum. So there is an end-to-end traceability of an order and end-to-end visibility of performance metrics to the client, starting from the order coming into the platform to the delivery at the doorstep. So, and this is all managed through a seamless integration, and this is all basically plug and play. So any new brand coming on the platform really needs to just integrate with our WMS offering, and they can go live. There obviously is some customization that needs to be done in terms of the SKUs of the client, which again we are very agile with. We did a custom SKU integration for this particular client as well. So that is a nuance that is taken care of. But yeah, that is how the order flows. And again, coming to the results, we have seen over 99% SLA adherence for this client, particularly in recent times. And typically there's an aggressive scale up which is planned for this and other clients in terms of dark stores across the country. So right now I mentioned it is 6. We are looking at over 50 dark stores in the next 6 months for this and other clients that we are setting up.
Wow. So that's a 360-degree view of your entire D2C business model. And to be very honest, I'm very fascinated. It all looks very easy while you're speaking and making it sound so easy, but we know in reality the amount of effort it takes, and the amount of blood and sweat, just to add a little drama. But I think it was wonderful, Aniket. We're really glad to have you join us for this business talk that we had today, our latest edition of Biz Talk, February 2021. I really do hope that we have a lot of question and answers to follow, and then probably we can take it up during our next live session as and when time permits. But it's been lovely to have you, Aniket. Thank you so much once again. Do let us know on any updates, and we'll be glad to take it forward. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Shweta, for having me. And I would really urge the audience to go through the case study that we will be sharing, I think, with this link as well. And there are some really key insights for brands who are looking to kind of freeze their D2C strategies, and we will be happy to help wherever we can in terms of partnerships to make that happen.
Wonderful. Thank you, Aniket. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shweta.